Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm live. I'm in the studio, so get involved in the chat and the comments. Going to be talking about all things Manchester United related, all the latest Manchester United news, including transfers, ticket prices, all that stuff, as usual. So make sure, if you're not doing so already, you are hitting that like button, smash a like and subscribe to the channel. We want to get to 800,000 subscribers, and with your support, we'll get there. Loads of the usual suspects in the chat, which is good to see. The likes of Notch, the likes of Maurice Marshall, Phil Berry, Mick Holohan. Good to see all you guys. We'll get into the comments in the chat in a minute. First of all, let's talk about what's on the thumbnail. Strikers. United being linked with a load of strikers. There's our mate Florian Plettenberg, who's been on the channel several times ever since we started. He says there, you can see it in his tweet, Manchester United are looking to strengthen their attack in the summer and are intensively scouting the market. Talks have already begun, so talks are underway. From the Bundesliga, the Red Devils are closely monitoring Hugo Ekitike, Benjamin Sesko, Viktor Gyokeres and Viktor Osimhen remain high on their list. So Florian is obviously a German football expert, but he works for Sky. He knows his stuff. He's usually quite reliable, and he's listed a load of strikers there. That kind of makes sense, to be honest with you, that United are looking at. We know there is interest in there in Gyokeres. It does feel a little bit like, on that front though, United might not be getting him, because whilst he's been at Sporting, obviously Ruben Amorim took him there and made him the player that he is today. It does feel as though Manchester United might struggle to get that deal over the line. When you look at the transfer fee that's involved, it's not extortionate. I think he's got a 60 million buyout clause, but you don't know if United are going to have Champions League football next season. We might have if we win the Europa League. Plus, can United even afford 60 million quid for one player nowadays? If the reports are to believe, then maybe not unless we sell a few players as well. So maybe that one doesn't happen. Viktor Osimhen does seem more likely. There's rumours, that he's keen on a move to Manchester United. He'd be up for it. He's certainly got that pedigree of a striker who's been around for a little while, scored a lot of goals, helped Napoli, of course, win the Serie A a couple of seasons ago. That could be one. Also, looking at the kid from Frankfurt, Ekitike, he's had a decent career, and I'm just looking at his sort of last few seasons. Is this season where he's stepped up, really? Just chatting to producer Ethan, he was saying they were linked with him a few years ago at Newcastle. Now we've been linked with him, and this season, 25 games in the Bundesliga, 13 goals. So it's a decent return. Is that the outlier, though? Because he's not really had many seasons. He's only 22, to be fair. So you can't go back, well, what was he doing 10 years ago? He was 12. But over the last few seasons, hasn't really been amongst the goals, to be honest. So that feels like a little bit more of a risk. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It might be that United have to go for someone like that because we can't afford a striker with pedigree. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. I want Manchester United to sign a player, or to sign a striker, that does have experience, that has scored a lot of goals, that has had multiple seasons where they've bagged over 20 goals. Someone like Gyokeres or Osimhen fits that bill. Even someone like Jonathan David, right? We've been linked with him. Let's have a look at his numbers. One sec, bear with me. Been linked with him a little bit. I think he's a free agent as well in the summer. So if you look at Jonathan David's numbers, now in an ideal world, being brutally honest, you'd probably go for someone a little bit better. But he has been banging in goals in Lille for the last 3 or 4 seasons. I mean, I'm going back to 21-22, 9 goals in all comps, 22-23, 26 goals, 23-24, 26 goals. So far this season, 23 goals in all comps. So he's got that experience and that pedigree of scoring lots of goals in multiple seasons. I feel that's what United need. We need someone who can come in and has that sort of experience and has that little bit of, bit of swagger, bit of confidence that at times he's lacking. I like Rasmus Højlund, and it's good to see him getting amongst the goals this weekend, or last weekend, I should say. But I do feel like we need another striker, no matter what happens with Rasmus Højlund. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Let us know what you think. Is there a player you would like? Danny Sabath says Sesko would be sick. Sesko, I think, was mentioned there. Benjamin Sesko. He's been linked with a few clubs as well. I think he was linked with Arsenal, wasn't he, Benjamin Sesko? Now, he's a player, he's mad, he's only 21. It feels like he's a lot older than that. He's a player who has had decent numbers. I think, was it 22-23 season, he got 18 in all competitions. 23-24 seasons, 18 in all competitions again. This season so far, 17 in all competitions. That age, though, at 21, you feel like, I know I said I like strikers have had multiple seasons, 20 goals. Ideally, you would. Still quite young, but he's well regarded in it. Everyone knows who Benjamin Sesko is, and he's well respected. He could be a good option. Can United get him, though? There's so many ifs and buts in there with all these deals, and especially with where we are financially at the minute. Hit that like button, please, people. Over 500 people watching, and yet to hit 50 likes, which is a disgrace. Sean says, Moston's finest, J. Motti. Moston? I've barely ever been to Moston, to be honest with you, bro. I live in Eccles, but I'll take the finest bit. Seven Wardy says, only here for the song, Jay. Yes, I've got, do you know what? Right, we're going to get into this now, because someone's mentioned this in the chat about the here for the song, right? So, we had a tweet, we've got a tweet here that we put out about chants. Everyone's been talking about Heaven chants, because his name's Heaven, right? That everyone's got an idea or thinks we need a new Ayden Heaven chant. We said this, was it, a couple of days ago? We as a fan base need to decide on an Ayden Heaven chant. He's earned it and the possibilities are endless. Go for it, Reds. Now, I was sent this morning, right? And let me just sort of turn it down a bit. So this was someone sent this in one of my group chats. And it's an interesting little day. This is to the sound of Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now by the Smiths. So I hope you can hear this. Well, hang on a minute.
But Ruben knows I'm miserable now. So he's been looking for a man, and now he's found a man. Haven's why I'm not miserable now.
So that was... That was a classic, and I fully expect that to be roaring round Old Trafford any day now. So thanks to James for sending me that, or sending it in the group chat. And yeah, I absolutely love that. Doesn't seem to be going down too well from people in the comments, but there you go. That's the bar that's been set. Quite a low one, I think you can agree. Can you improve on it? Send us your Ayden Heaven chance. The possibilities are endless and infinitely better than that. Let's tell you what, can we talk about ticket prices? Sorry to skirt through here. I want to talk about ticket prices because that was a big story, obviously, yesterday. The announcement about the ticket price increase. I think it's at 5%. I think this is from the BBC. It says Manchester United season ticket prices will increase by about 5% for the third successive year as the club aims to become financially sustainable. The Manchester United Supporters Trust says the increase is less than many feared, and there has been a price freeze for under-16s, but must say United fans have expressed their disappointment that the club has ignored the call for a widespread price freeze since becoming the club's co-owner last year. Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos Group have tried to improve the club's finances, but several changes have been unpopular, resulting in fan protests, in particular last week's home game with Arsenal. And the 58 organised that one. We were there. You probably saw us all over the socials. Yeah, it's a bit annoying we haven't had a ticket price freeze. There's lots of different caveats to these prices as well, with all these different situations going on with what's happening with season tickets and passing on season tickets and stuff. There's a lot to get into here. We're probably going to do another video about season tickets, or sorry, not season tickets, about ticket prices. But let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat and the comments. I know there's some clubs that have frozen prices. I think Spurs have frozen their ticket prices. Obviously, Manchester United haven't. And you feel like there's an element of, it almost feels like some people, like must have said there, well, we thought it could be worse. Like we were expecting worse. 5% feels roughly what few people thought it might be, or maybe the lower end of what people thought it might be. Let me know what you think. I mean, I'm still going to keep my season ticket. I am a bit disappointed that the tickets have gone up. And ideally, you would have liked to have seen a price freeze. And I think you can have a price freeze, but then the counter argument that we're hearing from Ineos, if you believe them, is, well, we need to put prices up because look at the club's finances and all the rest of it. Let me know what you think. Danny Sabath says, I love Manchester, but the music we make here is bloody awful. I presume that's a joke. Let's talk about Raphinha. Where's this one come from? Is this Fahaji's? Our mates. So, Spanish news outlet Fahaji's, right? This outlet, right? I don't even think they can call them a news outlet at times. Some of the stuff they come out with is absolute garbage. They've reported that the Red Devils are looking to sign Raphinha from Barcelona this summer. The Brazilian has been the standout performer for the Catalan club this season and has arguably been the best player in the world this season. He's currently the favourite to win the Ballon d'Or next season. He scored 13 goals in 27 games. Overall, his goals scored per 90 at 0.53. Yeah, here's an exclusive for you. We ain't going to sign him. Let's move on. Right, let's talk about Chido, one of my favourite topics. Chido Obi has been called up to the Denmark's under-21 side for the next fortnight, and their manager, whose name I'm not even going to bother pronouncing, has discussed the young striker's qualities in an interview with Danish outlet Bold. He said, I've spoken to an assistant coach from United who says that Chido doesn't hold back when they train over there, says the manager. I'm looking forward to seeing him, and I'm also looking forward to giving him the peace he needs now to just come in and see what this is all about. Asked what he's been told about him, he said it's really just mostly about the training part, as I can follow up the jumping and so on, but they have been satisfied with what they have seen in training. He has some unique qualities, he's a wild physique and he's a strong finisher, so they have seen that there as well. He's doing well in Chido. He's had some minutes in the United first team. Finn, who does an academy review for us, Academy Scoop, he said he expected him to feature this campaign. He has done. He's had minutes. It'd be good to see him maybe get a start sooner or later. Obviously, we want to see him get a goal as well. I thought he did well when he came on against Fulham. He had a couple of chances that he sort of took well, and hopefully he's got a very, very bright future ahead of him. At the minute, the sort of annoying part with Chido is obviously he can't play in the Europa. He's not eligible for that because United didn't register him as part of the squad. So we're not going to see him in the Europa League, but we can see him in the league. And maybe as you get towards the end of the season, depending on where we are, the manager might be more willing, or at a situation where you go, actually, this game isn't as important, this league game, where we can give you a few more minutes because all eyes are on the Europa. We'll have to wait and see. Let me know, get involved in the chat and the comments, what you think about Chido, what you think about him getting into the Danish under-21 squad, what you think about the comments as well. Let me know what you think about everything, about the prices, about the players we've been linked with. Make sure as well, if you're not doing so already, that you are hitting that like button, please, people. Let's get to 200 likes. Brian Casey says, why do we always seem to hit decent form just before an international break? It's a good point, ain't it? We always do that. I remember going back to David Moyes. I remember we beat Arsenal just before the international break, and I was like, this is it. We finally turned the corner under David Moyes, and we came back for the international break, and I think we drew the next 2 games, and that was the end of that. Dave Javu says, we've minded his minutes well and managed the pressure on him. Didn't throw him at the deep end and let the pressure destroy him. He's going to be top. That's a good point. That I think with Chido, we have managed him quite well. You've seen this in the past, haven't you? Players, they get brought in, they get thrown in, and then that is it. You sort of start in every game for the next 2 years or whatever, and then everyone hates you because your form's dropped off. I want to see us manage Chido a little bit better than that. You've got to remember, he is only 17. He's only a kid, and I think it's difficult, or it's easy, to forget that at times. Let's talk about Marcus Rashford. This is one, I think this is his Football Insider. United have raised their asking price for Marcus Rashford following his England call-up, according to their former chief scout. It's not entirely true, that. I don't think United have raised their asking price, right? So Mick Brown, who was the scout for United, I think he was a scout for many years, is basically saying here that because Rashford's done well since he's gone to Villa, that United could end up asking for more than the 40 million, which is initially the agreement. I don't see that happening. Also, as well, I think that, if you can see it here, their asking price has increased after he's recalled into the England squad. Okay, so I said when he went to Villa, the move would be a win-win situation for the 3 of them, and I think that's been proven already. I don't know about this. Get involved in the chat and comments, let me know what you think. It says, Villa have benefited from his impressive performance. He's been allowed to show what he can do, and now Man United can benefit from his sale. They've got the best out of a bad situation at United, really. It looked like they'd have to sell him on the cheap, but his value has only gone up. With the interest from Villa and from abroad, and a place in the England squad showing how highly rated he is, it will allow them to drive up his asking price. So I think that's more of an opinion, isn't it? I think they're going to put up his asking price, or they could. Rashford's done well at Villa. He's been getting a lot of assists. He's yet to score for them. I don't think, there's been a massive improvement from Marcus Rashford from when he's gone from United to Villa. I think there's been some improvement, but I still think we're seeing a lot of the things we saw from Marcus at United. The difficulty he had at United, Marcus Rashford, is towards the end, right before he left, he wasn't featuring at all in the squad. I think he was in one squad out of the last 12. The manager obviously weren't seeing eye to eye. The manager wasn't happy with his application or his lack of application in training. So you're looking at the worst parts of Marcus Rashford. Then you get to a situation where He goes to Villa, and we start seeing the Marcus Rashford we've seen previously. We saw it at the beginning of the season. Marcus Rashford was getting goals and assists. Let's not forget that. I think his last start in the Premier League for Manchester United, he got 2 goals. So it's not like he's not done anything this season. I think he just fell off, and obviously the manager wasn't happy with the way he was conducting himself and his mindset. So I think Marcus has done all right at Villa. My point I'm making is I don't necessarily think we've seen enough of him to suddenly United to go, right, or enough of an improvement, we want more than 40 million. I think if United can get 40 million for Marcus Rashford, they'll be happy with that. Saddens me to say that, but I think that's where we're at. We have to be honest. I thought there was a time when Marcus Rashford, if he was going to leave United, would have left for about 100 million quid. Those days are over though, aren't they? We've got him obviously on a massive contract, which undermines his value somewhat because whoever comes in is going to have to pay him a lot of money. And also he's fell out with the manager. He's not played as much football recently, which doesn't help. And he's at an age now where he's no longer a youngster in football in terms, is it? He's getting to the sort of the peak years physically as a player. So I think all that adds up, doesn't it? We'll have to wait and see though. But I'm not holding my breath on the price being increased. Yeah, nice. Almost fell for that. Almost, but not quite. Daniel Coe makes a good point here. He says 40 million plus wages off the books is nearly 60 million back in our pockets. Let's not get greedy, else he'll just go for free or next to nothing. Yeah, I think you've got to look at it as well with the wages. The wages are so big for Marcus Rashford. What is it, about 300k a week? So you're right, you're getting a massive amount of money off the wage bill. That goes towards the fee as well. Or that you can count that, can't you, as sort of money you can then spend, hopefully, you can then spend on transfers too. So it would be a win-win if Aston Villa paid 40 million quid for him. Faraz Khan says, morning Jay, sorry for the late joining, but wanted to ask you what you think of the Sancho situation. Hoping to have him gone. I was watching the overlap this morning. I don't know if you've seen the overlap fan debate that was out. McCullough was on it, absolutely smashing it as always. He was, Rory Jennings was on there as well. He's obviously a Chelsea fan. Wasn't too kind about Jadon Sancho. And I think Rory Jennings at one point says, Chelsea should pay the fine or pay the fee for not having him. Go and check it out after this video, of course. We've got a video coming up on it as well. So I think ours is going to be out tomorrow morning. But yeah, it does feel as though Sancho at Chelsea just isn't happening. Maresca has put a lot of faith into him. I think he starts most games. He plays in a lot of games. I think is it 14 games or something now his run has been without a goal and an assist, if I'm right. I saw a stat a couple of weeks ago, I think it was by Statman Dave, saying that it was 12 games without a goal and assist from Jadon Sancho. And I think he's played twice or once since then, so it might be 13, forgive me. But he's not doing... I watched I mentioned this on the Paddock podcast yesterday, because I watched Chelsea-Arsenal, which was a pretty dire game of football, if I'm being completely honest. And Jadon Sancho was poor. Chelsea were losing for a chunk of that game. And Jadon Sancho didn't try and make things happen. He didn't look like he really wanted to make things happen. He did a couple of, there was a couple of little twists and turns and stuff where he's still got that skill and you can see that. But in terms of actually, look, right, I'm going to get this ball, I'm going to get forward, I'm going to try and create something. There wasn't much of that from Jadon Sancho. And it was sad to see, really, because I wanted him to do well. I want him to do well, to get a move. I want this move to happen. I don't think there's a scenario where he does well and comes back. I don't think that's even an option. I think the only way he comes back is if Chelsea don't want him. And if he does well, they will want him. But I want him to get this moving. At the minute, I'm kind of on, worrying that Chelsea might just go, we'll pay whatever it is to not take him because he's not worth keeping. Let me know what you think. Danny Sabath says, Simon Miller on the overlap. I wrestled him a few times. Oh, a wrestler. Harry Potter says, hit the like button, people. Yep. Phobos Sacco Man. Rory Jennings is on a classic EastEnders recently. He plays a proper wrong and long. He's a child answer, isn't he, Rory Jennings? What else have we got for us? What's the next one? Right, where's this from? This is from Football 365. This feels a bit made up, doesn't it? Man United agree to pay Tottenham millions to secure early exit from sponsorship deal. What? Why is half this headline in inverted commas? What is going on here? So, according to reports, Manchester United co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe has finalised the deal to end Ineos' sponsorship relationship with Tottenham Hotspur. Well, rightly so. Like, if Ineos should be owning Manchester United and sponsoring Spurs, it's ludicrous. So that's what this is all about, innit, to be honest with you, that Ineos are going to end their sponsorship deal with Spurs, which I get, because obviously it does feel like a bit of a conflict of interest, and also, why are Ineos giving money to Tottenham Hotspur in any way, shape or form? So, according to a new report from Daily Mail, reveals Ineos have agreed a deal worth millions for an early exit from their partnership with Spurs. Hit that like button, please, people. Makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, you don't want to see your owners or the Ineos should be giving money to one of our rivals. It makes zero sense. I want to talk about this. This is another headline we've seen about the change in the seats around the dugout. So I think this is in the Mail. It says Manchester United will move fans from their seats behind the dugouts at Old Trafford to turn it into a lucrative VIP hospitality area next season. The move was among a number of changes announced by the club on Monday, which saw United raise the cost of season tickets by 5% for the third year in a row, while freezing prices for the under-16s. Chief Executive Omar Barada says we understand that any price rise is unwelcome, especially during a period of underperformance on the pitch. So the story here is that you see if you scroll up, you can see the dugout. We've got a picture of the dugout. So those seats around the dugout, that's obviously an old picture because you've got Steve McLaren there, who's not at the club anymore. So the seats around the dugout, do you remember all the pictures we used to see? Was it the seat lads who used to sit behind Fergie? That was like iconic, wasn't it? Those seats around the dugout apparently going to be VIP hospitality seats, which is going to be great, innit? Just seeing a load of day tripping, well, not even day tripping United fans, probably just people who aren't been that fussed about football sat near the manager and on the telly. That's going to go down great for fans trolling us. Anyway, the seats around the dugout are going to be VIP hospitality seats. Who knows? Maybe you can pay a bit extra and sit in the dugout with the manager. Maybe that'll be a new money spinning idea from Ineos. It is what it is, isn't it? To be honest with you. Santa Notch says, any point doing that to Old Trafford now when they're going to tear it down? Excellent point, Notch. If they're going to tear down the stadium, is there any point? I don't know. I don't get it. Antel says, ain't just there, Jay. Several of my mates have cancelled their season ticket as they have been moved to third tier of the North Stand. So moving people back, I don't like moving people around. You build relationships when you sat with people, you get to know them, and if you get separated, if you do move like sections but not everyone, it can be a bit deflating, innit? It's sad to see. We'll wait and see what happens with that. Sean says, Notch, it'll be fine. You for that happen, obviously talking to Notch. Faraz Khan says, imagine making extra fees to sit with the manager and help him make decisions. Haha. I'm going to leave it there. We're going to be back later on today. We've got a video coming out on a player who has been absolutely smashing it recently. So we'll have that one coming up. So make sure, if you're not doing so already, you are hitting like, share and subscribe. Actually, before I go, I've forgotten a load of things I wanted to do. Whoopsie. Right, so the Slow Readers Club, we did I did a post earlier this morning on our Instagram because I don't know if you watched the Slow Readers Club or listen to Slow Readers Club. We have Jim from Slow Readers Club on the brew all the time. Oh, hang on a minute. I've put the actual swearing from his message in there. I put the entire message where he apologises for the Miver, which it isn't Miver. It's fine. Let me find the actual link here, and I'll share it with you because basically the Slow Readers Club have got a new album out and it's number 5 in the charts. Right, it's doing really well. Their album is number 5 in the charts. So I'll put a little link in there. Go and check out that. There's a link there in the chat. Slow Readers Club. Album's number 5. It would be great if we could get them to number 1. Also, as well, while I've got my little plug-in hat on, if I can find, I've got another link here as he stumbles towards it. Yeah, the Booth Centre, which is a charity I'm involved in, I'm a trustee, it's a homeless charity. They're having a football match at FC United. It's the Booth Centre versus the rest of the world. I'll be down there commentating. It's on the 15th, Thursday, the 15th of May. So if you can get down there, help them out. It's a great cause, great charity, and if you can't, maybe you can donate. It's helping homeless people across Greater Manchester. So help the Slow Readers Club get to number 1 and help the Booth Centre as well. There you go. I think I've done everything. Should we, before we leave, should we just have another little blast of the chant of the century for Ayden Heaven? This was sent to me this morning from James. Big shout out to James.
I was happy in a haze with Vidic and Yapstam, but Ruben knows I'm miserable now. So he's been looking for a man, and now he's found a man. Havens, why? I'm not miserable now.
I'm just going to go and wash my ears. I'll see you later.